It's chilling to realize that the person closest to you, the one you share your secrets, your home, and your life with, could also be quietly plotting your end. The idea is almost unthinkable, yet it happens more often than we care to admit. Most homicides aren't committed by strangers lurking in the shadows, but by someone the victim trusted, someone they loved, someone they believed would always protect them. The betrayal cuts deeper than any knife. This is one of those stories, a tale where the real danger was never outside, but within the walls of home. It started quietly, almost innocently, with a whisper of ambition and greed, a fleeting thought, a passing comment, a secret wish for something more. The idea was simple: take out a life insurance policy, one big enough to change everything. A signature here, a promise there, and suddenly, a fortune hangs in the balance. But such policies only pay out after tragedy. The promise of wealth is always tied to loss, to the ultimate price. The whisper became a plan, a blueprint for murder, mapped out in chilling detail, every step considered, every risk weighed. The target wasn't a stranger in the night, but a partner, a lover, a spouse. The person who shared your dreams, your fears, your bed. Imagine a quiet evening at home. One person is planning a getaway, perhaps thinking of a new life, while the other is rehearsing a crime, their mind racing with possibilities and doubts, smiling, laughing, sharing a bed with someone whose death you're plotting. It's a deception few can fathom. The mask never slips, not even for a moment. The motivation was money, but more than that, it was about unlocking a life of status, freedom, and the power to finally live without limits. The dream of luxury became an obsession, burning away empathy and love, leaving only a cold determination to get what they wanted, no matter the cost. The plan grew louder, drowning out conscience, echoing in every quiet moment. Doubt and guilt tried to creep in, but the promise of a new life was louder still. The stage was set for a final, terrible act. Every detail rehearsed, every alibi prepared. All that remained was to choose the day, the moment when fantasy would become reality. The most monstrous plans are often the simplest. The cost? Everything. Love, trust, and the very soul of the person who dares to cross that line. The line between fantasy and reality blurred until even the planner could barely tell the difference. The lead actor was ready for their role, rehearsed and resolute, determined to see the plan through to its bitter end. The countdown to betrayal had begun, and there was no turning back. Her name was Lena, pleasant, reliable, unremarkable to most. She blended into the background of her suburban life, a figure of consistency and predictability. But beneath her smile, she craved more than suburban comfort. She yearned for excitement, for a life that sparkled with luxury and adventure. Lena dreamed of infinity pools, not picket fences. She envisioned herself lounging in opulent resorts, far from the mundane routines that defined her existence. She spent nights scrolling through images of luxury, nurturing a secret ambition. Each image she saved was a piece of the life she longed to live. Her husband, Mark, was content with their modest life. Lena saw it as a cage. To him, their home was a sanctuary, but to her, it was a prison. The gap between her reality and her dreams became unbearable. She felt trapped, suffocated by the life she was expected to lead. She was a meticulous planner, using her accounting skills to calculate the cost of her fantasy life. Every penny was accounted for, every expense meticulously planned. The numbers were impossible, unless she used Mark's life insurance as the key. It was a grim solution, but it seemed like the only way to achieve her dreams. Mark became an obstacle, not a partner. Her love for him was overshadowed by her desire for a different life. Every shared moment became part of her deception. She played the role of the loving wife, all the while plotting her escape. She convinced herself it was just business, a transaction to unlock paradise. She rationalized her actions, telling herself it was the only way. The risk was enormous, but the reward seemed worth any price. She was willing to gamble everything for a chance at the life she dreamed of. Lena's humanity eroded, replaced by cold calculation. Her dreams had turned her into someone she barely recognized. She lived a double life. Loving wife on the surface, secret plotter beneath. The transformation was complete. She had become a stranger to herself. She was ready to pay any price, even her soul. The path she had chosen was dark, but she believed it led to the light she so desperately sought. Lena's plan took shape with chilling precision. Step 1. Convince Mark to take out a massive life insurance policy. She framed it as responsible, a gesture of love. Mark agreed, never suspecting her true motive. With the policy in place, Lena's research turned dark. She studied poisons, heart attacks, and undetectable methods. She became an expert in death, her skills twisted for murder. Lena began planting seeds about Mark's health issues to friends and family. She crafted a narrative of decline, rehearsing her performance. The final step, choosing how to deliver the poison. Every detail was rehearsed, every risk weighed. The line between loving wife and killer blurred. Lena's old self faded as she moved deeper into darkness. The plan was set. There was no turning back. The countdown to the final act had begun. The chosen day was a Tuesday. Deliberately ordinary. The world outside moved on, oblivious to the storm brewing behind closed doors. Lena moved through her routine, masking her nerves with practiced motions. Each step, brushing her hair, buttoning her blouse, felt heavier than usual, as if the weight of her secret pressed down on her shoulders. She made breakfast, kissed Mark goodbye, and waited. The minutes stretched, her mind racing with doubts and possibilities. Doubt flickered, but the vision of paradise silenced it. She clung to the hope that this act would set her free, even as her conscience screamed in protest. That evening, she prepared Mark's favorite tea, lacing it with poison. Her hands trembled, but her resolve did not waver. The act felt unreal, as if she were watching someone else move through the motions, but she pressed on, determined to see it through. She handed him the mug, her smile flawless, her heart pounding so loudly she feared he might hear it. Mark drank, unaware of his fate. He chatted about his day, completely trusting, never suspecting the truth hidden in her eyes. Lena sat beside him, making small talk, heart pounding. Every word felt like a lie. Every laugh, forced. Minutes crawled by until Mark slumped over, lifeless. The finality of it struck her like a blow. Silence filled the room, a silence Lena had orchestrated. It was heavier than she'd imagined, suffocating in its completeness. The plan was complete, the line was crossed. There was no turning back. She had killed for her dream. The reality of her actions began to settle in, cold and unyielding. But as she stood over Mark, a chilling realization dawned. The cost was far greater than she'd ever anticipated. The paradise she sought might be forever out of reach. The future she imagined now seemed impossibly distant. The cost was not just Mark's life, but something inside her as well. The act was irreversible. Guilt gnawed at her, relentless and sharp. The dreamer had become a destroyer. She barely recognized herself anymore. The price of paradise was far higher than she imagined. Regret settled in, heavy and unmovable, and the consequences had only begun. Lena realized that some lines once crossed can never be uncrossed. In the aftermath, Lena played the grieving widow flawlessly. Friends and family saw only sorrow, never suspecting the truth. The insurance company found nothing amiss. The payout arrived. Lena held the check, her key to a new life. She sold the house, left her old world behind and bought her dream villa by the sea. Luxury cars, designer clothes, endless leisure, she had it all. For a while paradise felt real. The sun, the food, the envy of others, it was intoxicating. She reinvented herself, shedding her old identity. For months Lena convinced herself it had all been worth it. She sipped champagne, watched sunsets, and believed she'd won. The price seemed justified, but beneath the surface, something was missing. The victory was hollow. Paradise, it turned out, was not what she imagined. Paradise proved lonely. Lena's new friends were shallow, her connections empty. Every conversation was a performance, every relationship a lie. Nights in the villa were haunted by memories of Mark, not his death, but his life. The thrill of wealth faded, replaced by emptiness. Designer clothes and gourmet meals lost their appeal. The villa felt like a stage set, Lena a ghost among her possessions. Guilt seeped through the cracks, impossible to ignore. She saw Mark everywhere, heard his laughter in strangers. The paradise she killed for became a gilded cage. She realized she could run from her past, but not from herself. The cost of her dream was isolation. The things she bought brought no comfort. The true price of paradise was becoming clear. Paranoia crept in, then took over. Lena felt watched, By police, by strangers, by her own conscience. She fortified her villa, but couldn't escape her mind. Anxiety and guilt became constant companions. Her composure crumbled. Friends drifted away. Alone, she drank to numb the fear. A call with her sister brought painful clarity. Her sister's simple joys, family, love, connection, were what Lena truly envied. Lena had traded real happiness for a hollow existence. The unraveling was complete. She had everything she wanted, but nothing she needed. The burden of guilt was crushing. The dream had become a nightmare. Lena was utterly alone, imprisoned by her own choices. The true price of paradise wasn't money, it was Lena's humanity. She lost peace, sleep, and the freedom to live without fear. Every relationship was severed, every connection lost. Wealth became a wall, isolating her from the world. She learned that a life without love is true poverty. The highest price was the loss of self. Lena became a stranger, a ghost. Joy and freedom were impossible under the weight of guilt. Her story is a tragic lesson. Shortcuts to happiness lead to dead ends. Integrity, love, and peace of mind are priceless. Paradise gained through deceit is always too costly. Lena's new world was a personal hell, beautiful but empty. Some debts can never be repaid. Lena's story didn't end in her villa. A careless mistake, a digital trail, her lies unraveled. Justice caught up, her paradise was reclaimed, assets frozen. Her ambition became a cautionary tale. We all dream of more, but at what cost? Lena's journey shows how ambition can turn destructive. It starts with a small compromise and ends in darkness. Her story forces us to question our own ambitions. The most compelling stories reveal the truth about ourselves, because sometimes the price of paradise is everything.